Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to COASTER-net Updates. We've got some more news out of Kings Island, where Rob Decker has been spotted around Racer. Now, Danny, this in and of itself is not very big news, because Rob Decker, I would assume, goes to a lot of places. And we kind of said, I don't know if you watched the last show we did with Dwayne, but we kind of speculated that maybe they would be refurbishing Racer a little bit and putting a new lighting package on it, and Rob Decker would probably be involved in that some way. But the other strange thing happening as of late is if you know Don Helbig, who is in charge of PR at Kings Island, and he is also a very huge Racer fan. He has been noted throughout the years, at the park. That it was a big celebration when he hit his 7,000th ride on Racer. He's hit 10,000 rides, so he has tens of thousands of rides on Racer. Interestingly enough, across his social media platforms, his personal ones, he has been posting a lot about Racer lately, which I don't know, raises an eyebrow in my mind, because him being probably the biggest Racer fan in the world, why is he reminiscing so much about Racer?
It's not enough. It's not obvious enough for everyone to pick up on it, but there's enough of it out there for us to be like,
And it was funny, this week he started posting about other rides in the park. I almost think because people are on the scent of this a little bit too much, and he might be trying to deflect it a little bit. But I don't know. It got me thinking. What are they doing to Racer, Danny? Both Dwayne and I said that there was no chance that they would be RMCing this ride with Iron Horse Track. And there's a big difference between Iron Horse Track and Topper Track. Topper Track is
as many of our listeners do not know.
Yeah, so Iron Horse Track would make it a steel coaster. Topper Track would keep it a wood coaster and just smooth it out a little bit. Other wood coasters have Topper Track all over it. The RMC ground-up Woodies have Topper Track on it, like Goliath and Outlaw Run and Lightning Rod. Those are Topper Track. Steel Vengeance is Iron Horse, where that's a steel coaster now. So we speculate that maybe they be putting Topper Track, because usually in projects like this, they've never Topper Tracked an entire ride, an old ride. They've always done Topper Track in rough spots, like you said with Tremors has Topper Track on it, correct?
Yeah, Tremors has a little bit of Topper Track in a few spots. The Six Flags New England Cyclone had it before the conversion to Wicked Cyclone. Le Monster up at La Ronde has sections of Topper Track. So yeah, there's a few examples out there.
So they come in, they retrack it, they fix the rough spots. So I don't know. Cedar Fair has been doing a whole lot of different stuff to their wood coasters, and I think we have three main examples, Danny. The first one is Ghost Rider. That Ghost Rider out at Knott's, they had GCI come in, retrack the whole ride, and then they put Millennium Flyers on it. But it's still a wood coaster. GCI retracked it, put Millennium Flyers on it. So that's example one. Example two would be the Iron Horse, where we see with Twisted Timbers and Steel Vengeance, RMC comes in and makes it into a steel coaster, and you have a drastically different layout. And then example three is what they did this past year with Worlds of Fun and Timberwolf, a ride you just rode, where they came in, they reprofiled it, they took out the helix, took out a whole element, put in some new elements to make it better, but they kept the PTC trains on it. They didn't change it to Millennium Flyers. And did GCI do that work, or did somebody else do that work?
I believe GCI was responsible for the Timberwolf work. I could be wrong on that. I would have to look into that. But I think so.
And you said, and why don't you tell us your thoughts on Timberwolf then?
Boy, oh boy. I mean, Timberwolf has always been a ride that's had a really good layout, and it's just been executed poorly. Timberwolf has always been kind of a rougher ride in recent years. The first half of it was retracked heavily prior to last season, and the first half was very, very good last year. But then you went through the helix, it burned off all the speed. The helix was real rough, and then the rest of the ride was kind of pedestrian, was kind of rough.
Yeah.
Not a whole heck of a lot of airtime. Well, a good portion of the second half of the ride has been retracked now, and you add the reprofiling with that turn, and the rest of the ride is significantly faster and smoother. And I'll tell you what, Timberwolf is an excellent, excellent ride now. It's very, very good. There is lots of very strong airtime. The overbank turn is nice. There's some good lateral forces in it now. Timberwolf is actually a very, very good ride now.
So we have Ghost Rider that I thought was good before the retracking and has become even better now. We have Timberwolf that has significantly improved. And of course, I don't think there's a soul in the world that will say, well, there's probably a few souls in the world that will say that Steel Vengeance, is significantly better than Mean Streak was. I think 99% of the people in the world will agree to that. So any one of these three scenarios doesn't cause me for concern. But the question is why would Don be posting so much about it? And why would Rob Decker be there? Would Rob Decker be there for just a lighting package? I don't know.
There's a couple different pieces that make you think there's something going on.
So what do you think would be the most likely? Is it one of these three scenarios? We also have King's Dominion with Rebel Yell. They just rebuilt pieces of the ride this off season. But
I think that's most likely here.
But why? But then why would Don be so reminiscent about it? Like, it's not that wouldn't significantly change the ride experience at all.
No, it wouldn't.
Like that's the wall I come up against. Because I do put stock into Don posting all this stuff, unless
they're going to make a really big deal out of it, the way Worlds of Fun made a big deal about Timberwolf this year. Unless they're going to make a really big deal, because I thought Racer was actually pretty good last year. There were other people who disagree with that and think it's real rough.
I can tell you just from the comments in our last video, it's about a 50-50 split. Some people say that it's the biggest pile of junk ever, and some people say that it was really good. So there's no consensus on this ride at all.
And the one track I think is significantly better than the other, and I don't know if it's had work done more recently, but I think Racer being one of the iconic rides, one of the most popular rides, the highest ride in terms of ridership, if I remember correctly, at least at one time for many years it was. I don't know if it still is. You would think if they were going to do a significant renovation of it, that they would make a big deal out of it. Much like Worlds of Fun did with Timberwolf this year. They even, gave it a new modernized logo that they've used in some promotional material. It's on the front of their map this year at Worlds of Fun. It's the Nordic Chaser, which replaced the Finnish Fling, and then Timberwolf. So you would think that they would make a big deal out of it. They would put it on the front of the map. Maybe it would be like their big thing for the year. Saying, hey, a brand new, refurbishment of Racer. They're going to retrack the whole thing, maybe rebuild sections of it, repaint it, give it a nice lighting package. They could do all of those things.
Do you think they'd put Millennium Flyers on it?
No.
See, because I do not like the racer trains at all. Like they don't. I don't know. To me, they lock down and they staple you so much easier than the other.
Yeah, but the Millennium Flyer trains aren't going to be any better. And the Millennium Flyer trains are much heavier than the PTC. So the track, if you were going to put Millennium Flyers on it, you would have to rebuild most of the ride, because you would probably have to build the structure a little differently, because the Millennium Flyers are a significant bit heavier than the PTCs.
So I don't know. Like, let's talk crazy for a second. And let's talk, what if they are, because there was the other rumor that Fred Grubb was spotted at the site. And I never really believed that rumor. I saw the picture. I don't think it looked like Fred Grubb. It could have been anybody. It could have been, my dad there, for all I know, the way the picture was. Would Racer be a good RMC? It's big enough, right? It's long enough. You got enough structure there to work with. It's got to be better than what Twisted Timbers was. There's more to work with, correct or no?
I don't know. Racer does go out quite a bit.
It's a huge ride.
Yeah, but it's huge in terms of length and span, but is it tall enough is my question.
Could you do the first RMC racing coaster?
You could. We've talked about this a little bit before. What if you made it one track, and I don't know how exactly you would do it. You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
You make it one track. I don't know exactly how they would do it, but it's topper track for one half and Iron Horse for the other, and it's the first truly hybrid coaster where half of it is wood and half of it is steel. I mean,
well, you'd have to do a Mobius, and you'd have to do a station fly-through, which might be too much.
I don't know if you would have to.
You wouldn't have to do a station fly-through. If you did a Mobius, then you wouldn't have to do it. You would just do it the way Kennywood Racer does it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, because like you said, to go that far out, how are they going to maintain that speed? You'd really have to build up the height of that ride.
You'd have to raise the height significantly, which I guess since it's all one big line, I guess you could and just take out one of the small hills.
Yeah, you could. And let me be completely honest. I don't think that this is what they're doing. And once again, it's in response to what Fred Grubb being there. I do think they might reprofile some of the hills, though. So kind of like what Timberwolf did and took out the helix. A lot of people have been saying the hills don't have enough airtime on them because they're not profiled. They're profiled to, whatever.
They're drawn out. Rebel Yell had the entire outrun rebuilt for this year. Sorry, Racer 75. Whatever. But yeah, I could see them doing something significant to that, and
would that be enough to cause Don, hey, this is changing a lot. This isn't going to be the same ride anymore.
Well, maybe they're hearing complaints that Racer isn't as good as it once was, and they want to fix that, and they want to bring glory back to Racer. So they're going to prep for that.
I'm of the camp that thought it was way too rough, way too uncomfortable. And when you have other wood coasters in the park, where like Beast, I don't think Beast. I don't love Beast as much as other people do, but I don't think that it's a super rough. Like, it's a little rough. It jostles you around, but I think what it does well. Like, if you like going straight and you like doing helixes, then it does that well. Mystic Timbers is an amazing wood coaster that gives you the airtime and stuff. Racer's kind of like that third kid on the block now, where does it fit? If they smooth it out, I think it becomes more like a Gemini ride. Like you said with Tremors with the topper track, that you thought was almost too smooth. And I'm of the mindset, well, maybe that's good. Maybe that's good for younger riders to get on Racer, have a real smooth ride, kind of like what Gemini does at Cedar Point, where Gemini is super smooth because it's on steel track. And Racer, if you can smooth it out and give people a good experience, you maintain that ridership for years to come with the younger kids coming in, and maybe they'll find their love of Racer in the long run. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're doing the whole Iron Horse overhaul.
I don't think so. I think that's a long shot.
If they're just doing
that would be crazy if they did.
But
that would be big news.
But you are correct in the sense that why would they be so nostalgic, or why would Don be being so nostalgic about it if it's
it's not only that, it's also Rob Decker being there. That Rob Decker, like, if they're cutting down pieces of the ride, then Rob Decker's going to have to be involved in that. If they're just doing a repaint, relighting package, I don't know if Rob Decker's involved in that process. Like,
he might be involved, but I mean,
but to be there telling people like it seems that the context of what Rob Decker was there with that lighting company, and it seemed to me from the reports I got was that he was telling people, what would be where, as if it wasn't there currently. And I could misread that. I could be, exaggerating that, but that was the impression I got. So that kind of makes me think of, well, are they reprofiling it? Because if you reprofile one hill, that changes how the other hills work too, in some regards.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to consider by doing that. So boy, I don't know. I don't know.
So either one of these three options, if they did any one of the three, I'd be like, cool. I think this ride needs some work done to it to bring it. Like, I just rode it 2 years ago. You rode it more recently than I did, and I thought it was. I said there's no reason for me to get back on this ride. So I feel like
I thought it was fine, and I thought the one track was significantly.
You like rough wood coasters, like that's.
I do.
Like you enjoy I don't like. I'm hearing people get off of every wood coaster and say, "Oh my God, that's too rough," and they get off of Magnum now and they say, "Oh, that's too rough." Like, that's the world in which we live, and that's where I have to make my assumptions from. Is that if like ridership is going to drop because people want smooth, people want the Diamondbacks, people want the super smooth things, like even Mystic Timbers is real smooth.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll find out.
There's a lot of options. I don't know if any of them make sense based on what we know and what we're hearing right now. It's still too early to make a real good call.
But those are the three options that we've seen done in the past. Obviously, they can do anything, so they can do something completely different.
How about this? Similar to what we were talking about before, what if they made one rail on each topper track and one rail on each Iron Horse, so that the left side would be Iron Horse and the right side or whatever would be topper track?
Just to blow up enthusiast minds, basically, is what that's for. Right?
Because then it really is a hybrid.
And then you can't say, well, some people still don't count the topper track as wood. So
well, then those people would still call it steel.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
Should make part of it traditional wood coaster track.
We will keep you updated here on what's going on at Kings Island. If there's any more reports coming out, but there's a lot of activity, a lot of interesting stuff going on surrounding Racer, which I think is really fun to talk about. So as always, I'm, of course, Andy Obarczyk from Chicago, Illinois.
And I'm Danny Miller from Binghamton, New York.
Right on, Ride Warriors.
See you guys.